Hi, I'm Tiego Newton, and yes, here. This is Tylin Newton, and I got interviewed by Keith Andrew, and let me just say, it was a lot of fun. I'm very excited to work with him.
Thank you for this wonderful experience.
Today on the KeithAndrewNetwork, we have two professional upcoming actors, first time ever on the Keith Andrew Network. We have Tylin and Tiego Newton. Both of them are brand new to the Keith Andrew Network, the franchise. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Keith Andrew Network. And as I always say, I'll catch you later. So the first thing I want to start off with is my catchphrase. What is the Keith Andrew Network? The whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. It's a prove to them and can stem out to something. So hashtag break the labels. So that being said, it's a normal conversation. And the first question, actually, we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to ask one question, and this question is going to be for both of you. So it's going to be like a tag team episode. So the first question I want to ask you is, what inspired you to become professional actors? And that's for both of you.
Honestly, I loved watching people do stunts and stuff and action, and so I was like, I want to try that. And so I was able to do it, and I absolutely loved it. And I want to continue doing it.
No, absolutely. You have to have the heart and passion to do what you want to do, because you should never do anything, as I always say, should never do anything half-ass. Because say you're like at a job and you really don't want to be doing this right now. If someone important walks in and sees your type of attitude when you're at this job that you don't like, say for an example, I don't know, they're out of business. So say you're working at Toys R Us and you're like, oh, I don't want to be in this toy store. I just want to hang out with my friends. If someone important walks in and sees that, they're going to say, well, if you had this type of attitude when you were at the store, why should we hire you for this acting role? Why should we do this for speaking gig? So the very first thing I want to say for both of you, the first 10 seconds of when you meet someone, it's very important. So be professional, be polite, and make an impression on them. Because the next time they come across oh, I remember you, you were nice and professional, you always leave a good impression on them. That's all that really matters.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm speaking from experience on my part, I do a lot of things for half-ass, and looking back on it, I wish I could have done things differently, but everything's a learning experience. But if you do an acting gig, for me, if you're doing a talk show, make sure it's what you want to do. Don't set up yourself for failure. Give 110%. And this, you have to enjoy. You have to be happy, because if you're not happy and having fun, you're pretty much just wasting your own time, and it's a wasted opportunity, pretty much. Do you agree?
Oh yeah. Every time I see someone, I always want to be like high energy, because I am excited to be there, like no matter what. So yeah, I just always try to bring high energy.
What about you? Do you agree?
Yeah.
So the next question I want to ask you is, do you use, oh, it's going to sound like an oxymoron, but do you use your father as an inspiration, or do you want to be a bigger star than him?
For sure, I use my dad as an inspiration, because, well, going back on the high energy stuff, type of stuff, the professionalism and stuff like that, he's always like that, and I want to be like that, obviously. Yeah, I just want people to just enjoy me being there, because I know people enjoy him being there. So yeah, he's definitely a huge inspiration. But also being bigger than it would be, pretty cool.
There's a lot of professional wrestlers. I'm a big wrestling fan. Are you guys into professional wrestling? Okay, it's a hit and miss. But for an example, for professional wrestling, you look at someone like IRS, and his gimmick is like, he represents the IRS. And his gimmick didn't really go over well with audience, but his son became a bigger star and became world champion multiple times, got tag champions. So it's always good to say, yes, my dad opened the door for me, but you don't want to be a carbon copy of your father. You want to be your own person and about leaving a legacy, saying, if he can do it, I can do it too. And I can inspire so many people out there in saying, if you put your mind and heart into it, you can accomplish anything. But the next one I want to ask you is, what was your performance? Out of every performances that you guys have done, what were some of your performances that absolutely were the best?
Can you answer this one first, or me too?
Um,
All right. Mine is probably my most recent one. I got to do a lot of stunts. I got to jump off a car and ride a car.
Sounds like
look scary while doing it. So I absolutely loved doing that type of stuff. And
What's the name of it?
Eric's in the Void is what it's called. It's probably one of my favorites.
no, I saw the trailer. And some of your work, it's really good. Both of you. I know your father also mentioned that you guys won a couple awards.
Oh, yeah.
So the next one I want to ask you is, what was that moment like when you actually received the awards? So was it like, like a big, obviously it's a big accomplishment, but do you think that it's more like a stepping stone, or do you think it's just making a statement?
For me, I think it's kind of a stepping stone type thing, because being the best child actress or best child actor, it's a big thing. But I want to eventually become the best actor or something like that. So it is really cool, but I kind of using it as a stepping stone and motivation to do more.
No, I agree. For an example, as I mentioned, I'm a big wrestling fan. So I bought myself, a lot of people would say you don't buy yourself a trophy. But I bought myself a wrestling belt. I used to be obsessed with wrestling belts, WWF and WCW. But recently I'm like, I'm not a wrestler and I don't work for those companies. So if I have these belts for myself, it's kind of like, yeah, it's fun when your age, you can pretend to have a wrestling match. But when you get older, it's kind of like, what's the point? Because you didn't earn it. So receiving an award like you guys did, and my belt symbolizes, for an example, I could have a paper say, season 1, 100 episodes, and I did something else like a water ball, season 2. And I'm like, well, I don't need so many awards. Where I'm going to put them? So I bought myself one big trophy. And this symbolizes 8 years of my hard work, of 800 episodes, of every day, 24/7, of blood, sweat, and tears. And every time I look at the belt, it reminds me of saying how far I came in 7.5 years. Why did I say 8 years? It's this June 10th, and the three of you are more than welcome to join us. I would love it if you could. June 10th at 5 o'clock is my 8-year anniversary. So it's good to have a logo, a statue, whatever you want to use, and say every time you look at it, you think of where you started and how far you came. If that makes any sense to you guys.
That was incredible. Congratulations. Obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about social media, can it make you or break you, and working with people with disabilities when we come back. Show it is it is season 9, episode 813. That's right, 813. First thing I want to promote is the 8-year anniversary. The 8-year anniversary will be June 10th at 5 p.m. Eastern. For you guys, I think you're on West Coast, right?
Yeah.
So
No, wait, Mountain.
Oh, Mountain. So I think that's like 2-hour difference, but we can always work out the time difference. But I do want to promote HB Gibson. If you're very interested in entertainment and video games, definitely check out HB Gibson, home of the X Zone. Also, if you're into fitness, working out, eating healthy, check out Life of a Fighter. Make sure to like and subscribe to the KeithAndrewNetWork. And if you're a professional wrestling fan, tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern. Mountain Time, it's something that confuses me, but I will definitely work on that. It's Monday Night Raw. So if it's 8 o'clock for me, that would be about, say, 4 o'clock your time, hypothetically. Anyway, I'm not good with Mountain. You can next be Central Time. Central is an hour. Pacific is 3 hours. Mountain Time, every time someone's like, oh, I'm Mountain Time, I'm like, what the hell is Mountain Time?
Honestly, I don't even know.
Well, I'm glad we're in the same boat. But the first one I want to ask you is voiceovers. Have you ever experienced voiceovers? Have they ever interested you of being like, Family Guy, Simpsons, Dumbo, Jungle Book? Did you ever want to do something like voiceovers, or do you want to focus on being on screen?
Honestly, I'm pretty interested in that type of stuff. It looks really cool, but I want to be on screen. I love being on screen. It's always a lot of fun, and I'm there with everyone, and I love just perfecting what I'm doing. Like, even if it's just like a little movement of me jumping off something or anything like that, love it. It's always amazing. Huh?
I prefer to be on screen because you're your own character and you get to do what you're doing in the film instead of having to be the voice of someone doing it.
No, I agree. But remember, being an actor isn't a 9-to-5 job. So you always are looking for gigs, always trying to get to work. But the biggest thing is, in your point of lives right now, don't rush your childhood. Enjoy every moment of it. There's a lot of people like Miley Cyrus and I almost said Hannah Montana, but it's the same person. Miley Cyrus and Harold Duff and Zach and Cody. It's pretty sad I even watch these shows. Or iCarly. And you're like, they want to be rich and famous, be on TV, but at the same time, it's like, why not just take it one step at a time and just enjoy? My friend Raven said to me, and by the way, he's a professional wrestler. He said, if you want to see his work, it's on my channel. He said to me, it's not the destination that matters, it's the journey. So as you guys are on the road to being professional actors, as I'm on the road to be a talk show host, it's about just being and enjoying the moment.
Oh, yeah.
So, hashtag live for the moment. Now, the other question I want to ask you is, you mentioned you did some stunts. So are you into the whole, you reenacting wrestling moves, or do you like the whole gymnast thing? What about doing stunts that actually got you interested?
We gotta just do whatever. I know we have done some wrestling moves, right? I'm pretty sure, yeah. But what got me into it? I don't know. I really just like being tossed around, I guess. And it's really fun. It's more of just like a dance type of thing where after redoing it over and over, once it gets perfect, oh my gosh, it feels just amazing. And we were doing a lot of like wrestling on a set one time. Oh, I love it so much when there's tons of flipping and stuff. It's awesome.
Oh, I agree. The one thing I always liked, is just being in the moment and just enjoying it, just do stupid, crazy things. It's, the point of life is to enjoy every moment. So to ask two questions I want to ask you, and I'm going to pass the show over to you guys, is one, besides me, obviously, have you guys worked with people with disabilities? And are you willing to work with people with disabilities?
Yeah, go ahead. Our cousin. Go.
I don't think I know.
Okay. Well, we have a cousin with Down syndrome, and we love working with her and doing anything with her.
She was in your first feature film.
Yeah, she was in Ninja Cowboy Viking, which is our first feature, and that was a lot of fun working with her. And I would definitely do it again. I absolutely loved working with her.
What about you?
I don't remember a lot, but I remember that when she was acting in that film, she just brought it to life, and it was such a fun experience with her.
No, I agree. Something about working with people with disabilities, and I was told this too, that a lot of people are so like copy and paste, everyone tries to be like everyone else. But for me, part of my disability is I like to think outside the box. For an example, just throwing it out there, if on the Keith Andrew Network, we have tons of great formats, the best of my favorite wrestlers and cartoons. We have the Jumbo Challenge. We have the Human Pyramid Challenge, if you guys are interested in that. Love to have you part of that. There's so many different challenges. And recently I was like, if you go on my fan page, I support Keith Andrew. And I was like, oh, it's really easy. Hold up a sign, says I support Keith Andrew. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But then I'm looking at other people's work and I'm like, how can I stand out and be different? Because you can't copy, you could copy everyone else's, but you're not original. So I was like, why not turn I support Keith Andrew into something that's just about the brand, the Keith Andrew Network. So pretty much, you guys, for the Human Pyramid Challenge, is you do the pyramid and say, we support the Keith Andrew Network. So in that case, you're combining two ideas together and you're making it your own. It isn't just, oh, I saw this on TV and I want to copy his idea. It's always good to say, I came up with it first and no one can take that away from you. But the question I want to ask you, more importantly, is working with people with disabilities, has it left an impression on your life how to see and treat people differently?
Oh yeah. Going back to Brooklyn, she's always extremely kind to everyone. And sometimes I'm not the nicest, but she's nice to anyone no matter what. And I think that definitely left an impression on me because I want to make people smile. And she does that so just perfectly. And I would love to do that because I want to make people's day better. And she definitely left a lasting impression on me with just being nice to anybody, no matter what.
No, I agree. There's a lot of people. I met some, and I heard stories about, how, for an example, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, that's all I heard of myself. Someone would walk into a room and she would just brighten the whole room. You can feel the energy and electricity in the air just from this person, and you knew this person was special. So it's always good to be positive. It's if you have negativity, just flush it all away. If you're positive, positive things will come your way. And so the last question I want to ask you is social media. With everything that you guys accomplish in your lives, do you give thanks to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? Do you think it's because of these platforms you guys got in opportunities? Or do you think at the same time you have to be careful of what you say because it can easily backfire?
I think you definitely have to be careful. Usually what we do to thank everybody is we'll go on with our dad and we'll do it all together because we work on a lot of stuff all together. But you definitely have to be careful because you're trying to, be nice to anyone and everyone, and you don't know how they feel about anything you say. So you definitely have to be careful. But also, if you're trying to spread a positive message, then yeah, just do it.
Absolutely. Now, the other one I want to ask is, how many interviews have you guys been on? And do you prefer doing doubles or singles?
Wait, what?
How many interviews have you been on?
Uh-huh.
We've probably been on we haven't been on that many. I don't know if you can tell or not. But I think I've only done a few, mostly for 259. But I definitely like doing it as a double type thing, even though I do love one-on-one conversations. I do like being here with her and seeing her reactions to everything too. And so yeah, I'd probably like double interview more.
Well, if you're interested, I do know people who would love to have you guys on the show. But what I want to do is pass the show over to you. But I do want to ask one last question. Is the biggest things to connect with your audience is find something you're passionate about. You have to, for me, I use the top four. What I mean by the top four: LinkedIn, the more recommendations you have, the better it looks. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Now, you don't always have to use all four. You can just knock it down to the big three: Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. But the more recommendations in the fan base, the biggest thing is building from the ground up. I'm giving you words of wisdom, making my own mistakes, but at least I can put you guys in the right directions, learning from mistakes. Is I wanted, how people say, always reach for the brass rings, always climb that ladder. But the biggest mistake everyone makes is you have to make a foundation. And that's mean you can't do anything without a solid foundation, a solid message, and having people behind you. Because if you're just randomly gonna throw, crap against the wall and see what sticks, yes, maybe it will work out, but think about that wasted time. I'll say, if I just came up with the message, that wouldn't save me so much time. So what I want to ask you, pass the show over to you, is each of you have your own very own message that makes you different from the competition. So ladies first, I'm going to ask you, what is your message that when people think about you, say, I remember, and this is your message that goes with your personality and character?
What is your message? What do you want to do? What do you want to talk?
What's your message?
I don't really know.
I give you an example. Now, for me, when people think about me, it's not good to label yourself, number one. But when people think about me, it's like, oh, you're the kid with a disability and you happen to have the talk show. But for me, having a strong message is saying labels do not dictate who you are and who you want to be. You should prove to them you still amount to something. Having a heartfelt message that you hold dear to you, then people will always remember that message. So being a professional upcoming actor, you want to give nothing but, it sounds corny, but sky's the limits. It's the sky. Obviously, the sky doesn't have limits. Go figure on that one. But it's kind of like you want to leave an impression because that's what living is. That's what your career means. By doing your acting career, you're like pretty much printing an impression and saying, I left this mark in history. And when people look back, they will know what I stood for. That's what I mean by message.
So, like, what do you want people to remember you by?
You go first.
All right. I want people to, when they think of me, just think of just going around having fun, and no matter the situation, trying to make the best of it. Because no matter what happens, I just want to have fun, and no matter what, and try to remember the moment no matter what. And even say if something bad happens, it'll be a good story, and you'll make people laugh with it. So I just want people to remember to have fun and to live your life. You don't have to just be stuck.
Absolutely. Now, wrapping up the talk show was a real honor and privilege, giving you guys an opportunity to be on the Keith Andrew Network. I'm looking forward to working with you guys on different projects as well. But our fans out there, make sure to like and subscribe to the Keith Andrew Network. And as I always say, catch you later.